What's up, YouTube family? Back at it again. We're back. We're back and we're black. Seriously though. So yeah, I'm back in this raggedy motherfucker. Back here at work. Playtime's over. Drinking this highly filtered water that I gotta add my own minerals to because it doesn't have all that good iron like the water I drank yesterday. But yeah, y'all. So yesterday, the first time I discovered the reason why they call it Yellow Springs is because me and a couple of my friends went out there to Yellow Springs just to get some fresh air, get some just to I don't know how to say, it's kind of like it's very therapeutic just to be outside and walk, really just to get fresh air and walk and get some type of cardio in. So we came across, it's weird how this happened, y'all. I just want to say this real quick. It's weird that we came across an actual spring and we were like wondering like why is the color like so orange? Why are the rocks all reddish and orangish? And somehow it just clicked. He's like, maybe it's yellow. He's like, oh, it's a yellow spring, Yellow Springs. Duh. So y'all, the reason why they call it Yellow Springs, Ohio, shout out to Dave Chappelle. The reason why they call it Yellow Springs is because the springs are really yellow. I mean, it's really orange, but I'm guessing at one point it was more like yellowish color. So yeah, and it's because of the high iron. It has a high level of iron, which is a very important mineral for your body. The iron is inside of that water. That's some of the purest natural form of water that you could possibly fucking drink. They say it's polluted and you shouldn't drink it. Fuck them. They also said that drinking milk is good for you. So we know not to listen to these motherfuckers. But anyway, with that being said, I just really want to add that in, man. I'm so geeked and just excited about going back to Yellow Springs and the fact that I discovered the actual Yellow Spring. That was the Yellow Spring that y'all seen on the video yesterday. And I was drinking from the Yellow Spring. But anyway, so I want to talk about this. What is an NPC? NPC. It stands for non-playable character. This is an extension of the video game analogy. If you didn't see my video about the video game analogy, you should go ahead and watch it. But basically, just to give y'all a brief, you got to look at life kind of like a video game. Like if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, you got to beat the score. You got to move. You got to do stuff. You can't just play Grand Theft Auto and just walk in the middle of the street and just stand there. Something's going to happen. You're going to get hit by a car. The police going to get you. Rival gang niggas going to start shooting you. Some random fuck is going to just start punching on you. You know what I'm saying? You got to beat the missions. You got to shoot at the enemies. Like whatever it is that you do on Grand Theft Auto. You know what I mean? You got to build your money. You got to buy new clothes. You got to buy weapons, buy cars. You got to do things in order to be somebody on the video game. But most people who play these video games are fucking losers in real life. Not everybody, but most. I would say 80% of video game players are fucking losers. And a lot of them are young. A lot of them are like young kids still in high school and shit. But most of them, at least 80% of those kids are going to grow up to be a bunch of fucking losers. I mean, let's just be honest. So the point is, we tend to play these games and we get so caught up in this simulated world, just like social media. We get so caught up in this fake persona that we want to put off that we forget that our the real actual character is right here. So we gotta really, really, really play that character. And we gotta really go out here and win and look at life like a video game, except you don't get a bunch of lives. You can't just unplug and plug the game back in and start over and reset. Nah. You gotta really ride this motherfucker out and you have to win. You have to beat the levels, beat the scores. You get what I'm saying? You gotta self-improve, all this shit. Now, the term NPC came from the whole video game world, and it stands for non-playable character. When you're playing Grand Theft Auto, assuming that you're not online, we're not talking about the online, we're just playing just regular everyday story mode. You always, there's these characters, background, just the regular characters, the other people in the game. Nobody's really controlling them. They're just programmed to do and say certain things and react. Like if you push them, they'll push back. If you look at them and stare at them, they might say something like, hey, what are you looking at? Or, but you'll notice they'll only say certain things. They have a limited phrases that they can say. They have limited movements and actions. Like whoever programs these games, they do a good job programming them. But it's like it's obvious that nobody's really controlling these characters. They're just part of that matrix. The only character that's really being controlled is the one that you, an actual human, is controlling. So a non-playable character is a term that people have used here in the Red Pill community to refer to people who have no ability to think for themselves. Like a sheep, sheep is one thing. I mean, we all know there's sheep out here. I mean, most people out here are fucking sheep. Most people on the left are sheep. There's people on the right that are sheep. We're going to talk about something real important tomorrow. But to be a sheep is one thing. Be a sheep is just, you're just lost following. But to be a non-playable character, in a sense, it's kind of scary, man. You wouldn't believe, y'all. There are people walking around us, and no, they're not clones or robots. I mean, I don't know. You don't know what the hell the government's up to, but there are people. Like you go to the mall, or you go to like Walmart or just somewhere in public, and you see a bunch of people walking. I swear to God, y'all, there's at least 20 people in that store that if you walked up to them, tapped them on the shoulder, and started talking, they wouldn't even like respond like a regular human. They would probably say something that doesn't make sense, and they would keep moving. Like there are people who are just programmed. They're just programmed to think a certain way, talk a certain way. I don't even know if they really think. I assume when I was young, I thought everybody talks to themselves in their head. Everybody hears a voice. Not, you don't hear a voice, but like, okay, for example, like if I'm reading something, like if I'm reading a book or I'm reading like the label on here, I can hear the words in my head. I mean, when I'm looking at the word it says the most powerful kombucha you can buy, which, hey, I will attest to that. But when I read it, like in my head, I'm thinking the most powerful kombucha you can buy. Like I can actually think of the words that I'm reading. Well, people who we call NPCs, non-playable characters, they don't do that. I don't know how the fuck they read. It's like they read a book, they read it, but they don't really think the words in their head. A lot of people have admitted that they don't speak to themselves. They don't say any words to themselves in their heads. That's not normal. So, and this is not just a thing not just some fucking conspiracy theory that right-wing people came up with. This is something that's real. Like it's been scientifically proven. There are people who do not have that inner voice, that intuition in their mind. This is probably why half the country will always be divided, because you got some who are just programmed. It's like they're already pre-programmed to be and act and move a certain way. If you try to talk about politics or talk about anything deep with these people, they will either shy away from it, or they will try to change the subject. Mostly people who talk about sports all the time. This is this is how you can tell an NPC. You can't always tell just by looking at them, but you just conversating with them. It's really frightening. You wonder like where these people come from. Like are these fucking aliens fucking engineering these people? But like not everybody who's a sports fan, is an NPC. I know a lot of people who are diehard sports fans, talk about sports a lot, and and that's cool. But I'm talking about the motherfuckers who don't, like people who don't engage in anything political, anything that has to do with the world, any type of wars going on, any serious shit going on in the world, any type of conspiracy. They don't even acknowledge it. They don't even think about it or nothing. But boy, they will talk about football and basketball and baseball. They will talk about sports all day, every fucking day. Just like people who really don't engage with music. Like, especially like when it comes to rap and hip hop. Hip hop is a very, very competitive sport. Yeah, it's a music, but rapping is a sport, especially battle rapping. So, like when people talk about music, you got people like me that we talk about hip hop. We talk about Eminem, Bone Thugs, motherfucking 3 6. We talk about Tupac, Biggie, all the way to motherfucking Young Thug and Gunna and all these niggas. Like, we can analyze the whole hip-hop game. You got some people, they only talk about who's on the Billboard charts. You see what I'm saying? So people don't, people like what they like, but I'm using these as examples because some people only engage in what the mainstream media wants you to engage in. They want you to talk about sports. If anything political, it has to be like Ukraine, and then you have to be in support of Ukraine. I got a piece of paper on my bed. And, you know what I'm saying? You got to really think, man. Think for yourself. A lot of people are just out here not thinking, and it's not You know, I mean, I want to say like, you know, they're choosing to be like that, but man, like in reality, a lot of people are just, they just really don't have the ability to think. People really don't think. They just reacting and doing. Like, I don't understand how everything I do, I think about, even when I'm making dumbass decisions, which I do all the time. But I be in my mind thinking like, nah, let me not do that. Damn, and I know if I do this, it's gonna fuck me up. But oh well, you know what I'm saying? Ah, man, I gotta quit fucking with that bitch. She ain't no good. Or you know what I'm saying? Man, you know, maybe I shouldn't go downtown tonight because it might be somebody shooting. You know what I'm saying? I think every day. A lot of us think, but there's a lot of people who don't. I don't know what the percentage of people like that are, but a lot of people are not thinking. So that's why we refer to them as non-playable characters, y'all. This is real shit. The history of this, how it was really discovered, was through a meme. It's funny. Well, it wasn't discovered, but whoever made the meme was pretty much putting this information out through the meme. It's the picture where you see like the little gray dudes. They look like little aliens. They're like little gray characters. They got the little pointy noses, and they're like, and you'll see like CNN on their forehead, or you know, or you see like the one with the mask, and the mask looks just like the regular face that they have. It's hard to explain, but like those little gray dudes with the gray heads and the pointy noses, those are what you called NPCs. Those represent the non-playable characters that are walking around here amongst us in this matrix. It's really scary when you think about it. It really is, but it's very, very interesting. You know me, man. I'm always interested in new discoveries and new ways of thinking and new solutions to new problems that always arise. So, yeah, y'all, you know, stay safe, y'all. Do the right thing. So a friend of mine brought up somebody who was like, you know, far left, somebody who I always consider to be far left. He's gay, he's a homosexual, a young man. Well, I say young man, he's about my age, but he's a friend of mine. He mentioned how the right wing, people on the conservative side, never mention anything about the Catholic Church, but they always bringing up about drag queens and shit. And that is a very, very important topic. And I think, man, I would love for the brother to come on here and have a discussion with me about it. But, you know, we're going to set that up soon. I'm going to get the whole podcast thing jumping soon. But I will talk about all that stuff tomorrow. Peace.